Hello, and welcome to CinePhellas. That's right, CinePhellas, the only place where even though Logan Myers is in Vegas, I hope he doesn't replace me with another Black Doug. All right. So, Kevin, while Logan is in Vegas, should we go to Atlanta?
Oh hell yeah! I'm booking a trip there tomorrow. First class, man. Yes, season three was incredible. I know you felt the same way, and I can't wait for season four. We don't have to wait for it that long. I think it comes out in September, right?
It does come out in
Yeah,
September.
I can't, and it's the last season. Like they're ending it, right?
Yeah, it's the last season, yeah. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think this is really good. But before you and I go any further, let us have a look at some of the trailer. Honestly, I thought season was really good. But before we really get into the review, I don't know how you feel about this. To me, this is not really Atlanta anymore. It's the Twilight Zone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, even the earlier episodes, basically, that's why I love this show. It has a very surreal feel. And Donald Glover, and I always forget the Japanese guy's name, the director. I think he directs most of the episodes. They just struck a balance that I love. It's just, it's such a weird show, but it's so impactful at points.
It is. Remember the first season, someone got hit by an invisible car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always been like a weird show. But to me, this show has everything. It has good music. It has funny characters, a good cameo, which we'll get into later, and it also has horror elements in there too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So do you want to break it down episode to episode?
All right. Well, I don't have to look at my notes for this one. The first episode, Three Slaps,
Yeah.
was the first episode was great, and a lot of people don't know this. It's based on a true story.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, now that you say that, it is crazy enough.
Mhm.
It's the one where the black kids live with the two lesbian foster parents, and they're out of their minds. And I
Yeah,
think,
exactly.
yeah, and that was horrifying. Absolutely
And like
horrifying.
they had one where I thought the stereotype with the washcloths was funny, and then when the person comes to the house and they're like, "Oh, I need a washcloth," and they're like, "We don't have any," and they write her up for child protective services. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. And it seems like what I liked about it seems like that was a dream Ern was having because in episode two he wakes up. I think the end of episode one he wakes up in that bed, but then in episode two they kind of pick up for where they left off in the first episode. So that was
Oh, it tied up beautifully. Yeah,
yeah
especially
that
in the
was
last episode.
that was incredible. Yeah, and the guys are in Europe because assuming it, you following the plot points, Paperboy has blown up to be an international star. He's rich. He's traveling the
Yeah,
world, so he's brought all his buddies along. And that episode, the next one was the funeral. When they go to a funeral, and Darius basically believes they're burying Tupac, or they're basically saying goodbye to Tupac because the guy in the bed
that,
looks like Tupac. Yeah.
it does. He does. I'm like, okay, what is this? That was a really trippy episode, and
Yes.
I actually like the idea of taking it to Europe. It reminds me of those National Lampoon movies. Like it goes from Atlanta
Yeah.
to Europe. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I
but
like I like the aesthetic. I like the cinematography. I like the production value. It looks like Europe. It doesn't look like it. I know they filmed it in Europe, but like they kept that vibe of Europe. They didn't Americanize it like a lot of movies do that sometimes take place in Europe.
yeah, and even like the actual actors, I could be wrong, but it seemed like they were authentic Europeans. They had the
Yeah.
accents and everything.
Like they really felt like the guys really felt like a fish out of water, which was the whole point of this season.
Right. And then I just want to talk about see, I have some of the episodes written down. How did you feel about the Trini episode?
Oh, True to the Bone, number
That's
seven.
right.
Oh, that's that. I love that. I think that's my favorite episode of the season. I've watched it like 5 times.
Yeah, and another thing too that I really like with this season, they did it. Actually, I think it's the first time they did it, where they have episodes that don't have anything to do with the actual main story. It's like they get a little sidelined, but I don't mind it because
Yeah,
each time they do that, it's a metaphor or it's like some kind of message that they have for the audience.
yeah, social commentary. I
So
actually marked it down. There's four episodes this season had nothing to do with the main story, and I loved it. You had one Training to the Bone, basically dealing with how nannies get very attached to the children they're watching. And I know that because I've known kids who were basically raised by nannies and they're closer to the nannies than they are to their own parents. And so I thought that was a really cool episode. And the foster home one we talked about. The reparations one with the guy from Hangover.
See, it always comes back to Hangover, just like the intro in Logan. Repercussions or something, yeah.
Yeah. And finally, I think our favorite episode that we laughed about on text message, which was the one about Aaron.
Yeah, definitely.
And Kev, I don't know, do you know Kevin Samuels?
Not too well, no. I
He
heard the
was
name.
the lead. He was the lead professor, I guess, at the school that was interviewing Aaron, testing for his blackness. He's a famous YouTube guy, and he gives a lot of good advice about just living like an adult man. Finances, job, career advice, woman advice. And he actually died a few weeks after this episode was aired. So rest in peace. Because you check him out if you guys want a good YouTube channel. I take it his stuff is still up there. It's a cool YouTube channel.
Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, I didn't know about that until you honestly sent me that text message.
But yeah, I thought the tree episode with the tree, like the party with the tree that was like thousands of years old in the middle of the house, that was a good episode.
Yeah, that was funny. Do you like trees? And he's like, hell yeah, I like trees.
Yeah.
And then he took
But then they actually gave him weed after they talked about the tree, right?
Yeah, and he's like, why didn't you just say that earlier? Yeah.
And what happened? He didn't pay him, right? Paperboy went nuts at the end of the episode because he didn't pay him.
Yeah, he didn't pay him.
Yeah.
And speaking of Paperboy, that episode with where he loses his phone.
Yes.
And spoiler, a character named Socks, who he's like a stereotypical stoner, I guess. I don't know how to really describe that character. He looks like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob a little bit, but balding. And it's like he stole his phone. They don't really come back to it, but I don't know why they did that with him.
Maybe they'll wrap it up in the second half. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. And that whole interrogation scene with that one kid, when Paperboy
that kid was great.
Yeah, that kid was really good. I don't know the actor's name, but whoever you are out there, if you're watching this, you did a great job in that scene against Paperboy. Great stuff.
Well, it was almost. I put it almost at the same level as the Dark Knight interrogation scene. Okay, now I'm going too far. No, but overall, that was a good scene. And then speaking of Paperboy, they have a really interesting cameo in here where I was not expecting that at all. Spoiler, it's Liam Neeson.
Yes.
With Paperboy.
Yes.
How did you feel about that, Kevin?
Because I liked it. I thought he did well. I thought he was very self-aware and making fun of himself he made a few comments a few years ago. And I know he's basically trying to, I guess, polish up his comedic chops because if you guys don't know, he's trying to do Naked Gun. He's trying to do his own version of Naked Gun. I don't think it's going to work because Leslie Nielsen and Liam Neeson, I don't know. It's just, I think Leslie Nielsen, I watched those movies the other day and it's an art. It's incredible Liam Neeson because he plays it so straight. But it's kind of like he plays it straight but kind of goofy at the same time. I think Liam Neeson can play it straight, but I don't think he's been able to do the goofy. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. But that was a cool cameo. I like that. The whole entire episode was very weird and how it all circled back to him wearing that hat, that goofy hat, sitting in the corner of the street. And he was basically.
That's what I was saying. It's very Twilight Zone-y.
Yeah. And it's great. Like hopefully in the future, Peele and Glover will do something together because they're, I think they're on the same mindset. Like they're really deep, they're funny, but they can provide really surreal stuff that makes you think and kind of be like, oh, like that was kind of strange. I kind of connected to it.
Right. And then I want to go back to that dream in the beginning a little bit because that did tie back to the end perfectly. It was like bookends where so it's kind of like, is it a dream or is it not? Are they going to come back to it?
Yeah.
I think the white guy who was in the boat, I think he was actually in the first season. I could be wrong though.
Really?
Yeah. I think he had a little something in the first season. I would have to go way back, but I don't know. My instincts are telling me I've seen that guy before.
Yeah, because my work buddy, he's never seen this, so I actually started this with him. I'm only 2 episodes in, so I'm gonna see that boat. I'm gonna check that boat guy out, and then I'll see if I see him in the first season. And I'll tell you.
So, what do you think it is? Like, do you think it's a real ghost story now, or what?
It's possible. You can't really say, oh, they'll never do that on that show because they do it. And I also liked the last episode with Zazie Beetz, who I thought was incredible because I know so many girls like that, and I'm sure you know girls like that who basically fake accents and fake lifestyle choices to make themselves look deeper when they're actually hiding a lot of hurt that Zazie Beetz was hiding, and you found out at the end of the episode. I thought that was brilliant. I thought she was fantastic in that episode with her French accent, and I thought
Oh,
the basically the dinner party where they were eating hands and human parts was pretty crazy. And what's his name? Skarsgård was in that one.
he was.
Not
Peter
Bill.
Skarsgård.
Who?
Peter?
Peter, yes. Bill is Pennywise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
there's Peter Skarsgård.
yes.
Mhm.
And I thought he was good. He was coked out the entire episode. I thought he was funny.
Mhm.
And that episode was great. And I also like the episode where Paperboy is basically saying and acting like, I don't want to sell out, but you have to sell out. And that's what that gay character says, like, you got to do it. You can't avoid it. If you want to make a difference, you got to basically do stuff you don't, necessarily morally agree on sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And just going back to that episode with the fake French accent and everything, between you describing Zazie Beetz and then doing everything like with Peter Skarsgård, the coke and everything, we just described Johnny Depp's life right now.
Is it?
Like, so it doesn't even have to be a girl, it's Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just going back, but seriously, like I like the whole Emily thing. So once again, it shows she just saw a movie and she was pretty much copying that.
Yeah.
The stuff with the baguette, I thought was funny how she was acting like a French gangster. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, didn't she beat the shit out of some guy with the baguette, the bread?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
she's
I
like,
think that was good.
She's like, the baguette's been sitting out for 6 weeks. I can't do a French accent, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. Better than I would have done.
But I thought that episode was good. And also, that's another thing. The show talks about mental health and identity. And speaking of identity, the episode 9, like the crows from Dumbo, and it's with the kid, and he wants the scholarship.
Yeah,
that one I thought was that was actually the best one. And I think I mentioned to you the 3 people when he was looking up at them, and they were acting like the crows from Dumbo. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that, but that's one of those guys, the guys in the middle. That was Kevin Samuels.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, they were acting very much like the crows from Dumbo, and I think that's what they were going for. And I just thought that was a really good episode overall. Once again, dealing with identity. But how do you feel about it?
I thought it was great because there are a lot of people like that. They will latch onto their identity of wherever they are, wherever, say the neighborhood is white and they're half black, they'll latch onto their white side more. But then in front of their black friends, they'll, I grew up in a neighborhood where a lot of white kids with money thought they were black, and they would always act a certain way. But as soon as we went into the city, it kind of subsided and ceased, and that reminded me of Aaron's episode.
Now we're talking about Tom Hanks' son.
He was good. He was good in that Treaty to the Bone. I liked him in that one, yeah. And that's his real accent too, right? He really talks like that, does he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, on YouTube and everything, yeah. But I thought that episode was really good. And overall, I just think, what can I say about that episode? Once again, identity. I know I'm repeating myself.
Oh, yeah.
But I really like how when he met the kid in the school, the kid with the flamethrower, and he's like, dude, you look like Frankie Muniz. I thought that was a funny line. And then when he actually gets shot, they're like, oh, now you get the scholarship. And he's like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, okay.
I thought that, it's comedy through a satirical lens. And that's, as I said in the beginning of the review, that's where this show shines. And people say, I like Dave. Because I know Donald Glover was pissed that people are comparing this to Dave. And listen, I like Dave. Dave's a great show, and there are deep moments, but Atlanta's just on another level, in my opinion. I think Atlanta's up here, Dave's like here.
Yeah, I could see that. To me, it's Dave, but not really. And we didn't talk too much about Lakeith Darius. He was in that episode with the woman in the food truck. Did you see that one?
Yes, yes. And she stole his idea and basically sold it, making a food truck. Yeah. Again,
that's like Elvis, since that's coming out soon, or a lot of things actually. Those were the episodes that I have marked down. Any that I missed, Kevin, that you want to talk about?
Thing about the selling out one, where Paperboy had to basically, he wanted to make he made a song, and they basically butchered the song and the message of the song by having every type of race say that song is you're missing the point of what I'm trying to do. And then
Yeah.
he has to
That
sacrifice.
could even be a note to liberals, like some liberal people who
Yeah.
go that extra step, and it's actually more insulting that way.
Yes.
I actually have the episode written down. It's episode 8, and it's called New Jazz.
New Jazz. I'm giving it 5. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Every week, the episode. I'm like, okay, 3 in will be good. Nothing's going to beat these 3. And just kept happening and happening and happening until the end of 10 episodes. I'm like, this was, in my opinion, a perfect season. And I really hope he can keep it going with the final season, which is coming out in September.
Just a question: where do you think the second half will go? Like, in what direction?
So at the end of the season, he gets that briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
That there's items in there that you don't know the significance of those items, right?
No.
It was a picture of a family, right?
Yeah, but
I don't know. I guess we can sit here and basically talk about the possibilities, but Donald Glover will go this way, and maybe he'll just go back to a traditional formula for the last part. But I really hope he does more of those commentary episodes. I really hope he does, because that's where he shines. And he directed Treaty to the Bone, and I think he directed another one too. And I think, in my opinion, those were the strongest. I think he directed the Aaron episode too.
You know what? He did. You're right. I forgot about that.
And it's cool because these comedians, I was saying before we started, I'm watching Severance, and Ben Stiller does that, and like the directing in that show is incredible. It's just these comedians understand not only the comedy but the drama too, and that's where Jordan Peele shines too. He can make you laugh, but can also make you think. And I'm sitting in the class with Donald Glover, who's the professor, and I am basically eating up anything he throws at me. And I really can't wait for the last season.
Actually, okay, so for me, this show has everything a show could ask for. It has the commentary, it has the laughs, it has the moments that make you question things, commentary. It has everything, honestly. It has humor. And for me, at least, like every time a new episode comes out, I'm like, this is why I get excited for TV again.
Yes.
Like every time I see a new episode, I'm like, I'm excited to see it. And sometimes I don't feel that, especially with like nowadays where it's like, I'm just watching this because I saw the last episode or the last season. But this, I never know what I'm going to get. I don't know what to expect. And I'm just excited for everything overall. So I'm kind of with you, Kevin, where I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Some episodes I'm still trying to like digest, where I'm like, I kind of don't know what that is. But to me, that's good because it keeps you talking about it until the next season comes. But I would give it a 5 out of 5 too.
Yeah, it's great. We're in the golden age of television. Like I watched Boba Fett, and there was an action sequence on the train, for you guys have seen it, which are probably everyone. I was late with it. Mm-hmm. That train heist I thought was as good or better than anything I've seen in the theaters.
We've said it here before, where TVs are the new movies.
Yeah, and that's why it's struggling. That's why Top Gun is such a success story. I think was $1 billion worldwide. That's insane, because everything else dips.
Actually, I think I know where the second season can go now, like the second part.
Oh, what do you think?
Paperboy and Top Gun. Just combine the two of them. All right, well, I guess that's our review of Atlanta. Feel free to check out CinePhellas.com. We have all kinds of updates, movie reviews, more podcast episodes and videos. And feel free to also check out YouTube, because we have a lot of cool stuff coming your way. I think even Logan has a couple reviews coming too. But until next time, Kevin, what do we always say?
We say cheers.
Cheers.